So what's going on, Manny? How are you, man?
Everything good, thank God.
Good. Welcome to Let's Talk About It.
Thank you for having me.
Good. So who is Manny, man?
Manny, is husband, father, son,
Okay.
real estate team leader,
Right.
and just man, an advocate to also God, God-fearing man.
Okay.
That's first in my life, and just a person with big dreams, man. You know what I
Big
mean?
dreams, right?
Yeah.
We're here to conquer it. Why not? Right?
Yeah.
If you put it into the universe, it's gonna. I'm all about positive vibes, right? If you
Yeah.
talk out loud,
That's
it
right.
it pays itself. So
That's right.
I'm happy that you're talking about it. So
Yeah.
you and I, we're actually energy matching on that one, right?
Yeah, that's right, man.
That's good stuff, man.
Yeah.
So, how long not how long. You've been doing real estate for a while, right?
Yeah.
That said, how has that journey been, and how different do you see it from the past to today?
I think the core essence of it is still the same.
Correct.
Meaning it's an energy transfer,
I love that. Okay.
from one individual to the next.
Right.
Them being able to trust you.
Okay.
And the language of sales never changes for me. I got into it at 19. I was telling my group the other day, my team, that the same scripts that we had back then when I first started from my mentor, is the same script he uses now for sale by owner scripts. You know what I mean?
Right.
So now, of course, with technology and other things like that, there's a difference in the marketplace. But for the most part, the core essence of the activities is us as agents. That didn't change.
So you mean you still have to pick up the phone and call?
You still got to pick up and shake hands and
right?
network and provide integrity, honesty. You know what I mean?
Oh, so it's not just gonna hope and that something happens and someone's gonna buy a house, right? You still got to put in that work.
You got to put in that work.
It's a revolving energy. You just have to continue to put in that work,
and
right?
it never stops.
It never stops, right?
Yeah.
No, so. And that's what entrepreneurship is all about.
Yep.
In aspects of anything you're doing. It just so happened in real estate, you have to have opportunities. If you're not talking to somebody, you don't have an opportunity. You don't have an opportunity, you can't be mad at what's not happening because you haven't put yourself in a situation like that. So going back to what you're saying, the energy is the energy.
Yep.
And if you do the basic part of real estate, that can take you to the next level.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, the results are something you can't think about, right?
No.
You just got to worry about these are the steps I have to follow. And then it's like kind of if you have a goal of like losing weight, right? I'm going to eat right. I'm going to go to the gym. You don't know when that weight is going to shut off your body.
Right.
Yeah, it's the same aspect. Just put in the work and then the results will come.
I hear you. I appreciate that. Thank you for the feedback on that one. So going back to when it comes to real estate.
Yeah.
Some, look at it as a residential situation where they want to live in, and then there's others who look at it as a portfolio.
Correct.
For investment. Can you expand on a little bit on how some are viewing that as an investment?
Yeah. As far as investment, I mean, you have two ways, right? You either have fix and flip or buy and hold. Right. So for me, and our team, I focus more on buy and hold.
Okay.
Right. So me and my wife, we basically have a multifamily. We had one in Newark that we held for a couple of years, and then we flipped it. We made a good amount of return on that money.
Right.
So meaning we put it back out on the market 2 years after we bought it.
Okay.
That was a nice return. My family, I was able to help my mom, my sister, and myself purchase multifamilies that we hold now, have a nice bit of equity in each property. I also just got involved with a multifamily in Atlantic City. Okay. So me and my wife have a partner investor that's a capital investor, and then our LLC is, a JV partnership with the investor. So now we have another property under our portfolio that we manage. So to expand on that, it really depends on the consumer's idea when it comes to investing, and then what is their resources. Right. If you never got into investing, don't just jump into a fix and flip,
right?
Because you have to manage the contractors and understand market turns. Now you have this property that you may not sustain,
correct?
The overhead. But with a buy and hold, I think that if you just are starting, buy something that like, for example, you're in the mortgage business, correct?
Correct.
So if my mortgage is $5,000 and this house is bringing me $6,500, I mean, that's just right. Just hold it and hold it long term. It'll be worth more money and it could operate on its own.
I love what you said. You just went through a whole aggregate of your family.
Yeah.
You just led the example of what generational wealth looks like or should look like.
Correct.
Right. And you're saying, I'm doing this with my kids. I'm doing this with my wife. I'm taking this part. I'm moving to this side. I made this return. Yeah. Now I'm taking it to the next level. Absolutely. On this side of it. Right. Mm-hmm. I'm going to be careful. Many think it's that easy.
Oh, it's not that easy.
Yeah, right. Many think it's that easy, and the fact that you're an example of it, and you're leading a team.
Yeah,
I think there's no excuse of why one cannot do it, especially if you're leading it.
absolutely. I mean, anyone can do it, man. But it, like you said, it's not easy. So like me having this conversation with you, what they're not seeing is the stress that comes behind it on the day to day.
Right.
Right. But I think what drives me is understanding why you do what you do. Okay. You know, so when the pressure gets, tight, then you're not folding. You know, you live up to that expectation. Even today, right? The market took a little turn.
Right.
And I'm a team leader. My wife doesn't work. So there's pressure on the table. There's tenants that rely on me, my team that relies on me. And so you just have to remind yourself like why you're in this business and why you do what you do.
That why is so important.
It's everything.
Yeah, it's everything. You're right. That why is everything.
It's everything.
So speaking to those who are entering the market, first-time home buyers.
Yep.
What are 3 things that you would tell them how to go about moving forward with a home purchase?
I would say first, to continue what you just said on multifamilies and like investing, if you don't own a house, I would highly, highly suggest you start with a multifamily.
And today you can do that with 5% going conventional, right?
Exactly.
You don't have to go through FHA anymore to deal with the MIP, and you don't have to deal with self-sufficiency if you do 3 or 4 more units. So that's one of the good things that are happening right now in certain areas that have multifamily.
Yeah,
right?
So take that and use that to your advantage, because as you know, if you get the single family first, you can't go the other way around and then go buy the multi.
Right.
So if you look at the breakdown on what that multifamily will bring you through the amortization of that loan, even if it's $1,000 a month,
it's a return.
It's a significant return, right? And someone else is paying this off for you. So first and foremost, I would say look into that. And I understand some people just don't want that.
Right.
So
and that's okay.
That's okay.
Right.
Get into a single family house that if you go that route, I think first and foremost is your finances. I tell my buyers, your finances more than anybody.
Right.
So if I'm looking at you get pre-approved for $500,000, my first question to them is I might get the pre-approval from your team, and I say to them, can you swing this mortgage?
Right.
Because I don't know your finances like you do. So if it's a $4,000 payment, understand it. If that okay with you, I went to school for accounting, so I go through the numbers with them. So that's first and foremost, because I'm not an advocate of putting you in a house where 2 years later I got to sell it.
Your house, that's dangerous.
I don't want to be part of that.
Right.
I want you to hold this long term, come over and barbecues, have a good time with you.
I like that.
Yeah. So control your finances first. You know them more than anybody. Second is understand what exactly do you need in terms of school. Right. Do you have kids or you don't? So getting down to that understanding.
Correct.
And then what you probably would know this too is a lot of times I start working with buyers, and when they first start with you, they know their criteria. Like, I want to be in Maywood. I want to be here. I want, my kids want to go to this school. And then as the process starts, the pressures of not finding something that plan gets deviated from. Right. So I think stay patient and stick to your plan.
Yeah, patience is key. Yeah. Any large transaction, especially home ownership, I think patience is very key.
Agree.
Right?
Agree.
So that's 1, 2. What's the second step?
So I think first and foremost is getting yourself a realtor, right? We understand what just happened in Missouri with these buyer's agents, and that might shift the dynamic in the real estate business. Right. What I saw, and this is not to shed any like negativity to the universe because I'm not about that, but a lot of times agents that started like during that pandemic era, if I'm representing somebody, truly go through the comps with them. Right. Because you are buying your most expensive, asset, you know, and they're responsible for hundreds of thousands. So, one thing I'm an advocate of is explaining to the client, look, the comps are this, but I know based on the competition, we probably won't get it for this. So understand by you doing this, this is what you may be, you know what I mean?
Right.
So being transparent and just knowing your agent and understanding that he or she should provide you that value of whatever marketplace you're looking at.
Yeah, professional service is professional service, right? You want excellence, you have to provide excellence, right? So it goes hand in hand. So thank you for expanding on that.
Yeah.
So we've seen mortgage rates, right? We saw mortgage rates go over 8 this year. Now we're back in the sixes. Some of us are doing the happy
Great.
dance. Some of us are doing certain things to
Yeah.
appreciate it. So
Yep.
the universe has answered some of others' concerns, right? Because some people are in some financial situations, and the 6% does help them because buyers are sellers, sellers are buyers. It works hand in hand, right?
Yep.
So how receptive has that been to you and your team to talking to your past database on what is going to happen from now moving into 2024?
So there's multifold. One is we're providing content. So we just did a group meeting to end 2023 on everyone's accountability on what they look forward to do with their business, what they learned from this year and what they're going to take forward to there, and providing value on what's their insight that we could then share to the database. Right? Through like a constant contacts or something like that.
Right.
Second is I started receiving phone calls with potential referrals. That people that want to purchase. So that's been a little dry, ever since the rates were,
we're
increased.
At the eights, right? 7.5%, 8%, right?
Yeah. So like 3 people in the last like week and a half, like, oh, I just gave so-and-so your number. And, so that's coming back. And then most importantly, like the people that were pushed out the market, just, reaching back out to them, which actually I literally mentioned that this morning. Reaching back out to them and understanding like, okay, you got pushed at the market because you were pre-approved at this amount, whatever. If what we're hearing comes true, why don't you start, Q1, why don't you start having that conversation again with a mortgage broker so we could potentially put you, because they still want a house, you know what I mean? So yeah, so just basically giving them key points of what we're hearing in the marketplace and sharing the information with them.
That, that's, you're right about that, right? It's just the consultation now happens within the database that you have, right?
100%.
Right, because like you said, because you provided excellent service. Someone says, hey, talk to Manny.
And those are your warm leads.
Right, exactly.
Go to that first.
Always. So Manny, with that being said, we've seen the shifts and things happening and how one receptive of communication. How has technology changed the real estate market?
From the buyer standpoint, before when we sat with someone, when I first got my license, so this goes back to 08. They didn't have a list of properties that they already wanted to see.
Right.
Today you sit with someone and it's like the moment that meeting's over or during that meeting, they're like, here, I'll send you the Zillow links right now.
Right.
So they're like finding the house for themselves, to be honest with you, right? Because they have the accessibility. And when you're running a team and you're doing everything on the day-to-day, we put them on drips. We're prospecting to try to find them deals, right? But they also are sending you property like, I want to see this at 5 o'clock. You know what I mean? So they're assisting you, like we're working together, and then you do the due diligence. So I think from the buyer standpoint, that changed the way, it was only us sending them MLS, printouts or,
them days are far over now.
Exactly. So that from the buyer standpoint, that from the listing standpoint, of course, you have now more additional marketing. I think, it's like 70-something% of traffic comes from like online.
Correct.
So how you stage your property, how it looks, I think it's like the first 5 photos might capture someoone's attention or not.
You get one shot, right?
You get one shot.
You get one shot. Like, you better make sure you put the best thing
so
out
it's enhanced for me.
Right.
The realtor's job. You know what I mean? I don't think is a negative. I think it just made, hey, now you have different platforms to market your property. That's never a bad thing. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. So.
Okay. Yeah. That's good stuff. So, I got to plug that in because, we're part of CMG Home Loans, myself, Jason, Jaden, Sean. And I forgot her name. Oh my God. She got Sarah. She's gonna choke me. I forgot my name. So we have a lot in common. Excuse me, we have a lot in common, right?
Yep.
Jason being my branch manager, he's put me in a position today to talk about some of the things that are happening and how we're navigating and how interest rates, it's just a conversation, interest rates. More or less it's like we got to make sure as a team provide that value, like give the breakdown, have them understand why they're working with us, why we can provide that. After it closes, what we can do. And the good thing what we have what's called a rate rebound, right? So you can come back to us and you can refinance. It wouldn't cost you anything.
There you go.
So those are some of the perks that one is seeing, because some still believe that's an opinion, but it's going that direction where rates may go further down,
Yeah,
right?
5.5.
Yeah, that can happen.
Yeah.
So that's some of the good things that we have happening over here. So I know you do a lot of your business comes from the Bergen County area, right? Okay. I'm getting used to Bergen County. I'm from Union County. Well, not from Union County. I reside in Union County. Can you, if one is looking at a multi or one is looking at certain areas in Bergen County, do you have a particular town where one may lean to?
Yeah, if we're talking Bergen County, I'm gonna probably first and foremost say like Garfield.
Okay.
Only because if you're gonna look into a multifamily, whether you're gonna own or occupy it, and then after several years rent the whole dwelling, or from the very beginning have it as an investment property, you want to allocate a marketplace where that area is predominantly tenant occupied.
Okay.
Right? Because now your vacancy ratio should be a lot less versus, I don't know, like a Hasbrook Heights, right?
Okay.
It's more owner occupied.
Right.
And also you want something that you can scale. So because there's a lot of multis in Garfield, it allows you to, someone like me and my team to focus and make outbound calls to be able to find you, more deals. If there's only, 5 multifamilies, you know what I mean, in Hasbrook Heights or Fairlawn, I mean, it's not too much activity that's going to happen there. So for Bergen County, if we're talking that specifically, definitely I would put Garfield at the top of the list.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see Garfield when I'm taking the Parkway north, I'm going towards Hackensack. Where
Exactly. Yeah.
That's why I see Garfield. So Manny, I know you preach love, family. What are some of the restaurants and outside of things of real estate you like to do?
So on a personal, obviously my personal life, spend time with, man, the older I get, I'm 36. I know I'm kind of young, but I think that,
he said 36. Come on.
As you, for me at least, right?
Okay.
I've always been a spiritual guy, right? So it's God first. So that outside of the business and on a day-to-day basis, having that communication, right?
Right.
I think that leads the way for everything else. And then second is my family. So Keller Williams literally drew me into their business because that is Gary Keller's mantra. That's his value system: God, family, business. It's everywhere in the business. And he promotes it in family reunion everywhere, right? And so on the personal standpoint is spending time. I used to work in the Hackensack Hospital, right?
Okay.
So I was there since I was 19. I did about 14 years there. And through working in the ER and the cancer center, man, I can't explain how much I value life. Wow, and value good energy, you know what I mean? I seen people, stuff that happens just like that, right? And in the ER, and then seeing life get taken away in the cancer center from people that come in looking just like me and you, meaning healthy, vital, full of energy, to where I never forget, I used to do insurance, right? So a quick story is I was having a problem with this gentleman's insurance, and I knew exactly who he was. And so I had to go, he was in the infusion center, so he was already starting his chemo. So I would have to fight with the insurances to get these things paid. So I'm like, let me go check where this guy's at, because I got to talk to him,
Right.
And they loved me, you know what I mean?
Right.
So I literally went inside the room, I walked by him. I didn't notice him.
Wow. Because
the way he was stripped away. So I say that to say this, value your family and people that really have good energy in your life, because you're here today, you're gone tomorrow, man. You know what I mean? So for me, it's spending time with my kids the most I can. I lost my father at a young age, so now I'm a father today. So, just being in the presence of my son, my daughter, taking my wife out to eat, booking trips that she's just at a surprise. You know what I mean?
Right.
So just really valuing time, man.
I can, I can speak that because I had pulmonary embolism. Right? I had blood clots.
Oh,
it was right
wow.
here. Yeah. So,
wow.
I mean, when you watch how you spend a week of unwanted restaurant visits at a hospital, right?
Yeah.
There's nothing you can do. All you're doing is taking infusions. They're giving you Lovenox. They're giving you all these blood thinners.
And that could be critical.
I watched it happen. I watched it happen to me, and I said to myself, if I get this second shot, I'm gonna ride this bad boy out, man.
I can sense your energy.
Yeah, man. And that's what it is. I'm always putting positive things out there, just for the simple fact that this is all I have.
There you go.
This is all you have.
And you got one.
Yeah, right. And so you definitely have to maximize what's in front of you. So thank you for talking about that.
Yeah.
So Manny, man, thank you so much for coming on the Let's Talk About It podcast.
Thank you,
and
man.
I look to continue working as a team.
Yes.
All of us, and maximizing our goals for this year and future years ahead.
Yeah, 100%.
All right? I appreciate you, man.
Thank you, brother.
All right, have a good one.
Thank you.
I'm mad.